everyone. Welcome back to So You Want to Be a Millionaire. I'm your co-host, Sharla Brown, and co-founder of 100 Most Powerful Women, alongside the beautiful, amazing, and talented Jacquie Somerville, where we work with 100 women. We mentor 100 women to be able to look like a million, feel like a million, impact millions, and make millions of dollars. Today, our show is all about doing good things with money, because what we know for sure is that when women make really great money, that they're able to do really great things in the world. Welcome, Jacquie. How are you today?
Hey, Sharla, I'm doing great. Great to be with you and everybody watching.
Yeah.
Very excited about today's topic. And of course, we have the one of the masters and experts on this subject in our midst today, Sharla Brown, to talk about doing good with money.
Yeah, absolutely. And, what does that look like for you? Because, I think a lot of women, associate me with, being the founder of One Woman and being able to empower women globally to be able to live the life of their dreams, helping girls have access to education, especially in developing countries, helping women start businesses and gain employment skills to break the cycle of poverty. But, what we have learned, Jacquie, as we've traveled, across Canada and across the United States, and, I've definitely done a lot of travels right around the world, and so as you have, that as we have conversations with women, is that their businesses really do make a difference. That most women that we meet, do have this big, caring, generous heart and have a passion to make this world a better place. And what does that look like for you? That's what we're really going to be talking about today, is really tapping into, what you're passionate about, who you want to help, because that's one of the big things that's part of our mission, is to be able to impact millions, because we know that every woman has the potential to do that. I think back to 2016 when the Dalai Lama visited Vancouver, and he made a statement that truly rippled around the world, that, it is women who are going to heal this world, that are going to change this world. And, how do we step into that so that, we're monetizing our gifts to be able to make the money that we want to make and that we're capable of making to make the impact? Because that's what I know, is that it takes money to do this work. And lots of times we shy away from that and don't have that connection, or don't make that connection, that, really it's attracting that abundance, achieving that level of success, making that money so that you can do it the way you want to do it. If you want to build schools around the world, if you want to be able to send people to college or university, if you want to end homelessness and poverty in your own community, if you want to be able to, help at a dog rescue and be able to, create your own, whatever the case might be, it is what you're passionate about, but to be able to do it at the level that you want to do it, and never putting limitations on that.
Yeah, beautiful, Sharla. And I think that's really a great message right away, is some people feel a little overwhelmed. Oh, there's so many problems in the world. What does one pick? And I think you said it best. Choose what you're most passionate about. And we often ask the question of people who are stuck wondering what their purpose in life is. If you could change one thing in the world, just one, if you had to pick one thing, what would that be? And to really think about that, because that really does help us to figure out our purpose and our passion in life, is to ask ourselves that question. If there was just one thing that would be so life-changing, in my opinion, what would that be? And that gives you some guidance as to where to focus your attention, your gift giving, and your time and energy, and so on. And the other thing that's so important today with today's show that I really wanted to talk about is the power of generosity. Why does being generous bring us more good? What's the deal there? When we give without a generous heart, when we give through clenched teeth, or we don't give at all, what we're doing is we're indicating to the divine, to the universe, to God, that we are in a state of lack, that we believe that there's only so much, that we must hold on to it. And, just give when we feel like we've got overflow, or just give. In truth, if you give when you're struggling, it's amazing how it can open up for you. And so often people will say, well, I can't wait to contribute to my most precious charity as soon as I have financial overflow. But what they don't realize is they're staying in a state of lack by making that statement, because you're telling yourself and this divine universe that you don't have enough, and you will continue to be in a state of lack. So lack of generosity is a lack mindset. And we talk about mindset all the time. We talk about wealth consciousness. A big part of wealth consciousness is generosity. Because if you are open and you give with an open heart without worrying about how it's going to be replaced, or worrying about, oh, but how am I going to actually support myself if I help this person out? Well, by helping them out with an open heart, not through clenched teeth, you're actually giving the direct message to the universe that you don't believe in lack, that you believe in an abundant world. And when you do that, your energy shifts and your energy opens up to true abundance. This is how it's super connected. That's not why we give. If we give for that reason, trying to manipulate the universe, it doesn't work. We must give with an open heart because somebody requires our help or something requires our help, and we're called to help with an open heart, not because we're trying to manipulate the universe into getting more, right? These are the important things to remember about giving. Give with an open heart. Give knowing that there is so much money in the world and that there is constant flow for you, like to be able to tap into at any point. So generosity is part of having a huge wealth consciousness. It's part of having an abundance mindset, and it's really important for all your financial dreams.
Yeah, well said, Jackie. And I think that everybody has faced that circumstance where they really felt called to give, but then started second guessing,
Yeah.
as to whether they can really help, if they should help, and really getting into that small mind and really thinking of all the reasons why they can't, and maybe I won't have enough and there won't be enough and all this kind of stuff, as opposed to really tapping into that divine guidance that it came to you to want to be able to do that in the first place, knowing where that came from, and that, there really is this thing in life called karma, and that, the energy you put out there and what you do and what you give in this world comes back tenfold, and I dare say 100-fold in my own life, because the more I give, the more love, abundance, joy, and everything else that's great that I receive. And sometimes, I kind of laugh about it because I have so many examples in my life. But I think back at Christmas time, when we decided to, be able to help one of the organizations that we work with to be able to send a girl to school. And it could come into our mind, especially this year, with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, am I able to do this? Should I? All that kind of stuff. But I just knew this is what I was supposed to do. Don't think about it twice. Just cut the check, Sharla, and know that it's doing great things, and that, this was, divinely placed on your heart. You just got to do it. And that person that I turned that money over to, I happened to mention to her, something I was working on. And she said, well, you need to meet this person. They can help you. And that person helped me out to the tune of what would be valued at about $12,000. So that's the thing, is that, you do good things in this world, you give freely when it is, placed on your heart, not to have the fears and worries around it as to, can I do it? Am I able to do it? That if you know that this is what you're supposed to do, just to be able to trust that and know that, money's all around us, and you never know how it's going to show up in different ways. For me, it was saving me $12,000 on something that I was about getting ready to do. And, the universe pays attention to that. It's all the energy, the love and vibration that we operate at, that when we can give with that love and to not have strings or conditions attached, do things unconditionally, that, the universe takes that and has it come back to you in ways of means you could never imagine. That's just so beautiful. There's so many times that it's brought me to tears in terms of, what's came back into my own life that I'm so thankful and grateful for. And it's just a way of living, that we can give and we can have so much gratitude for, the abundant lives that we live, and to never take that for granted, not to hold on to things so tightly, thinking that they're not going to be replenished, or, that's the way the world works, is, it's all energy. We're all meant to be here to help each other, to support each other, to encourage each other. And, it's one thing to give to others, but I dare say that you invest in you first, as well, and to never feel bad about that or feel guilty about that. And we talk to so many women that struggle with that have these big goals and dreams. And we know first and foremost that if you believe in yourself, you invest in yourself, you do what you need to do to help get you from where you are to where you want to be, you will help people in ways and means along the way that you never even knew possible, just by living an inspired life, just by chasing your big goals and dreams. Because I always say it at Fearless Women's Summit, it says that when you share your fearless story, when you live your fearless life, you give another person permission to do the same. You give somebody else permission to do the same. And my goodness, that gift is priceless. That when you have somebody else who sees you doing this and they say, hey, maybe I can do it too. You never know the impact you're going to make. And I always say that's my best part about one woman is, I chased my big goals and dreams. I, decided to live fearlessly. I dropped that crazy pebble into the pond. And the best part about what I do is never truly knowing the impact that it will have on this world. But it shows up in different ways, of people I meet who say, I saw you at a Miami event and that day changed my life. I left my job that I hated. I started this business. I'm massively successful now, or they sit in that audience and they say, maybe I could share my fearless story. Maybe I could step onto that stage, and a year later they do it, and they face all their fears to be able to become who they were meant to become. And so that's the thing I want to mention is that, it's great that we can help others, but always make sure that your cup is full first and foremost.
Yeah, so true. And Sharla, you are just you're living proof of this, and you've inspired me so much with your incredible generosity. And I have to confess that I had to sort of learn it the hard way. And that I was called to step up and help somebody in my life who had a real tragedy, and it cost me a lot of money, and I felt every dollar of that going, and I was in a state of fear, desperately worried about what would be left and all of that. So while I was seen to be generous from the outside world because I was helping this person and giving, I was giving through with a bit of a closed heart. I was giving with fear in the background. And so I did suffer an enormous financial loss because I was giving from a place of fear. So I'm not sitting here today saying that I'm an expert on this, that I come by this naturally. I had to learn this the hard way because it wasn't natural for me to step up and to give that freely to that degree. And it was such a beautiful lesson. I love that you mentioned love, because unconditional love, because that is truly it. That is the foundation of it all. And that is the lesson I had to learn, was at the end of the day, make it all about unconditional love, not about money, not about fear of losing it. Because if you truly believed that it was abundant universe, you would have absolutely no fear of losing it, no fear of lack, no fear of it temporarily leaving. And so it was this really hard, brutal, sad, emotional, devastating lesson, but so friggin' beautiful that I wouldn't swap it for all the world. The way that it happened, the impact that it had on my life, what it has taught me. And I now look at giving so radically differently, not only as a result of that, but as a result of watching you and working with you and traveling with you. And it's really shown me, and my brother, I have to give a shout out to him too, has been such a beautiful example. When I was struggling financially, he came to me and he said, I know this is contrary to what you want to hear right now and what you think, but you must go and give. Even if you're struggling to pay the rent, go and give that $20 in your wallet to somebody else. And I was like, ugh. However, I was in such a bad way that I was willing to try anything and everything. Isn't that amazing how God works in those ways? That when we're against the ropes and we have nothing to turn to but our faith, we end up having to turn to our faith. And I took that $20 in my wallet and I did give it away. And that day, that $20 was doubled and then almost tripled in the most incredible, beautiful ways. And so in that moment, it came back to me that day, and that's not why I gave it. My brother said, you've got to give. And I was like, oh, okay, but I am just going to give it. I'm going to let go. I'm going to give in faith, because what else do I have right now? And I gave that $20. And that day, somebody gave me a ride, and I was going to have to take a car service for $25. Somebody gave me a ride, and a taxi was going to cost me way more. And somebody bought me dinner, an expensive dinner that night. And I came home and I thought, well, now, isn't that really interesting to see how quickly that happened? And again, that was God working through my brother to teach me that lesson. And his generous heart, as with yours, Sharla, has just taught me so much about this aspect of life. Because while I was always seen to be generous, I was giving through clenched teeth. And I am living proof from this experience that I had. Please don't do that. Give with an open heart, with the knowledge that this is an abundant world and that there is so much out there. So I just wanted to share that little personal lesson so people don't think that I've somehow become an expert on this. I had to learn it the hard way, like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that, I think that's how most of us operate. And that's why the world is like that. Because if we didn't believe, if we had a new set of beliefs that we'll always have enough, that all our wants, needs, and desires are always taken care of, and that the universe is an abundant universe, we wouldn't have any problems in this world. That's the thing, is that, it fuels our actions, and that's the thing, is that when we can change that and let go of, our small mind and our limiting beliefs as to, maybe I'm not going to have enough, or you got to save for a rainy day, or penny saved is a penny earned, and all that kind of stuff, realizing that money can flow in our life. And that, the more that we, let go of that and trust the universe, and that, the universe has our back, is that, it comes to us in ways and means that, if we're living and operating in our small mind, won't come to us. It's when we can let go of that and trust the bigger picture, really follow, what we were created to be, to step into that, to follow our deepest desires, to be excited about our life. Money comes in truckloads into our life. And I love that. Oprah used to always say, her prayer always was, God use me. God used me. And it brought her to television, but it also brought her to be, one of the wealthiest women who, walk the earth today, because she just followed, her heart. She followed her passion. She follows her purpose. She has given away tons of money. And she also, keeps having money that comes in even after, her show has been done for a number of years now. She's created that because she lives in that energy. And, there's so many people who walk this earth that live in that energy, not so tied as to, I better save this because it's not going to be enough, and living paycheck to paycheck and struggling and hustle and grind and all these things that we tell ourselves that just aren't true. They're just not true. Yeah. And so I always encourage people to say, what are you telling yourself about money and about, what you want to achieve in your big goals and dreams? And are those true for your life? Do you truly believe that, you're the only person who's like you on this earth and that's ever walked this earth? The miracle that you are here today, do you truly believe that, miraculous things aren't going to come into your life, including money, but love and joy and abundance, and, a life that's beyond, what we set for ourselves, really tapping into that and being able to realize that? Because, I guess I've always had that in a lot of ways, is that I never had an attachment to money in terms of, fear around it. I've always given my whole life and, you know, raised money for others and used my gifts and talents, and to be able to do that, and in return, I've lived such an abundant life, not just financially secure, but oh my gosh, you know, I always say, you know, that's one of the greatest gifts that every woman can give herself, is that gift of financial independence, so that you're never worried about money. You're never stressed about money. I don't think about it. You know, I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. I can help who I want to help when I want to help them, you know, all that kind of stuff. But that also, you know, you can, you know, do what you want to do, have what you want to have, achieve what you want to achieve. And that when you can let go of you having to do all the work, you know, or you having to figure it all out, that, you know, when you can let go and look at money as energy, the ways and means that we live, and that it can come to us in ways and means that we can never imagine. And that, you know, we know people who've, like we've said before, you know, won the lottery and, you know, just had money show up in, you know, the most miraculous ways, and knowing that, you know, you truly are a miracle, and that you are meant to live, you know, an abundant life. And the only person who's keeping you from that is you.
Yes, Sharla. And I love that you touched earlier on investing in yourself, because the very same thing applies. If we're stingy with others, if we're being stingy with ourselves, we're giving the universe the exact same message. And if we're giving to ourselves through clenched teeth, we're giving the universe the exact same message. So a lot of people binge on things, go and rack up the credit cards, buy all the crap from the stores, and fill their houses with stuff, and constantly trying to fill things up. But every time they do that, they get remorse. They get buyer's remorse, they feel bad, or they're trying to fill. And that is the same thing. It's giving the universe this lack. I must have it now. I must get it now, because there's only so much. And if I don't get it now, the money's going to run out. I won't be able to get anything. It's lack. So it's not what you're purchasing. It's how do you feel when you're purchasing it. Don't be buying yourself a beautiful new pair of shoes if you're going to stay up all night sweating about it. Buy yourself a beautiful pair of shoes because you love the shoes and because they make you feel great. And if you're going to have an issue about it and being stingy with yourself, it's going to cause you way more harm than good to go and buy those shoes. So you have to get your energy really clear around this. What is my choice? My choice is to either buy those shoes or not buy those shoes. If I'm going to buy those shoes, I'm not going to be stingy with myself and whip myself afterwards. No self-flagellation allowed. I'm going to own it, and I'm going to buy those shoes, and I'm going to love those shoes. Because if you're spoiling yourself or investing in yourself in a stingy, clenched way, it's going to bite you in the ass. So it's really important to not be stingy with others, and it is equally as important to not be stingy with yourself, and really clear your energy around it. And invest in yourself because you deserve it. Don't be spending money that you're going to have guilt and remorse around. That's a mindset that needs to shift before you buy the shoes.
Yeah, exactly, Jackie. Well said. Well said. And that's the thing, is I think we all fall into these traps, you know, of, you know, just how our mind works. And so, you know, it's all about making some progress and taking steps forward and really listening to the things that we're sharing with you today, so that, you know, you can attract more abundance in your life and not be chasing money. As we know, you know, when what we chase eludes us, you know, it's always running a little faster, as opposed to really, you know, becoming a magnet to what you desire in your life, what you're passionate about. Really be able to create that energy, because, you know, when you create that energy and that vibration that you're operating in, doing what you love, it comes to you. You know, it shows up in ways and means that you never even saw coming. And you know, we had a session earlier today where, you know, somebody was like looking for a business, but really looking at it from the perspective as to what's out there that might make her money. And that's always like putting the cart before the horse. No, you really got to look at, what are you passionate about? What excites you every day? You know, what calls on your heart to do in this world? And that when you follow that wholeheartedly, the money comes. because you become irresistible. You really become a magnet for what you want, attracting those clients and the income you want to make and all that kind of stuff. So it all comes down to, when people say follow your heart, it really is, that's where your passion lies. That's where your desires lie. Really tap into that, because a lot of times we fall victim to the little guy upstairs. Jacquie always laughs at me because I always call it a guy. But that one that tells us all the things that we can't do, or over analyzes things, or is trying to figure it out, and you're never going to be able to do this, you don't have enough money, you don't have this, you don't have whatever, all that kind of stuff. And it's time to fire him. He's not serving you any good. Always tap into what's in here. What are your deepest desires? What do you want to achieve for your life? What are you passionate about? What gets you excited to jump out of bed every day because you can't wait to do it? When you follow that, you can attract so much money to do good in your life, and to be able to give freely, and to be able to, help whatever charities or organizations you're passionate about, be able to help the people you love, whether that's sending your kids to the school they dream of, helping others to be able to achieve their big goals and dreams. As I said at the beginning, we know that when women make really great money, they do really great things in this world. And that can mean spoiling yourself too. We totally believe in that, if you want to have a second home in the Caribbean because, that's your big goal and dream, you deserve that. And lots of times, we wrap all these conditions around it and, make it, feel like it was so out of reach for ourselves, but really it's already there. It's already there for each of us. And I just want to mention one thing, that as you sit here, and I don't care what your circumstance is, I don't care if you feel like you're drowning in debt, or what you're telling yourself, or that you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, or whatever the case is that you're already rich. That, change that language as to what you're telling yourself about money, because what I know for sure, that as you sit there right now, you are a wealthy woman and you are already rich. And lots of times it's the fact of every single day counting all your blessings, because gratitude, nothing brings abundance in our life faster and greater than gratitude. And really being thankful and grateful for all of that you already have, and asking for what you want, because all of that can change that quickly. In terms of what is keeping you stuck, or what's getting you frustrated, or what you feel is getting in your way, it's you, so you can change that just by changing your language around it, what you're thinking and what you're believing for your life and what is possible. Because I always say, everything changed for me the day I no longer looked at what was Sharla possible. Everything changed for me the day I looked at what was God possible. Knowing that I am part of that, and just tapping into that every day and taking a step forward, because you are a rich woman. You are a wealthy woman right here, right now, in this very moment. And all you need to do is just keep taking those steps towards your deepest desires, your passion, your purpose. And when you do that and invest in yourself, and don't be fearful of doing that, everything will change.
Yeah, beautifully said, Sharla. You'd mentioned what you chase runs away, and I've always said that what you chase runs away, and what you cling to pulls away. And when we are not generous, we are clinging to our money, and it will pull away from us. It will find a way to separate itself from us, don't I know? And as you said, exactly, people who decide to chase money, it's always going to be a step ahead. So I'm so glad you brought that up. It's really important, a part of the money mindset piece. And gratitude. Gratitude is what bridges the gap between us and divine intelligence, God, the universal spirit. Nothing gets us connected to the divine quite like gratitude does. And to have the practice of gratitude is a huge part of the abundance mindset. We're asked by Spirit to be presumptuous, that what we've asked for is already given. And I love that. So we can relax completely, knowing it is already done, and that divine timing is just doing its thing, because we're becoming the person we need to be in order to receive what we've asked for. So if there's ever a gap that we're waiting for something, if we can relax with complete patience and faith in that gap, completely relaxed, what's happening is we are becoming the person we need to be to receive what we've asked for. God is just doing its work. So it's so gratitude is such a key piece of all of this, of the abundance mindset, of connecting to source. Some people feel that they're not connected, or that they lose that connection. The best way to reconnect is through gratitude. So I'm going to give you a little tip. One of the things that I do every single morning to lead into my meditation is I listen to How Great Thou Art. Now, I'm not proposing any religion to anybody. I don't follow any particular religion. But that song, to me, just gets me into this state of incredible gratitude. And I'll listen to it on a loop. And I'll listen to it sometimes for an entire half an hour. The same song, sung in the way that I love to hear it being sung. The tears pour down my face, because I realize just how blessed I am in any moment, no matter what's going on in my life. And the other thing that I was inspired to share with you, based on what Sharla just said, is that the most valuable asset that we all have is not our houses or our bank accounts or our investment accounts. It's this, the 5 inches or the 6 inches or whatever it is, right here between the ears. That's the most valuable asset we all have. And we're all walking around with it. We're all walking around with our gifts and our talents and our minds and our hearts. It's right here inside of us. That's the greatest asset we possess. And so you can feel rich no matter what's going on. Sharla's absolutely right. It's in the feeling of it now that brings it into reality. And this is what we always talk about, but it's so freaking important that we're going to keep talking about it, no matter the subject of our life.
Yes, absolutely. You'll find a pattern in these shows.
Mindset.
Yes, yes, yes. And things that we repeat over and over and over again, because they really are, those secrets, which really aren't secrets, but they hold the keys to our joy, to our happiness, to love in our life, to abundance, to the life you dream of, all your deepest desires, that when we can get those, when we can tap into it, when we can connect to it, we can create this life for ourselves that we truly believe every person deserves to have. We work with women, but everybody deserves to have that. And these are all things that we can tap into absolutely for free, once we get them and understand them and learn them. Lots of times we need some help along the way. And that's what we do with 100 Most Powerful Women is, to really be able to coach women to, get their mind set straight and to really be able to achieve that level of success and to have that abundance and love and joy in their life and to have that peace in our life, because all of us need to learn these things so that we can be able to enjoy them. And that's definitely what Jacquie and I do with 100 Most Powerful Women. And we'll continue to talk about great subjects through this show that really has helped us to achieve that in our own life. So anything else, Jacquie, that you want to share about doing good things with money?
Oh, I think we've covered the 2 most important things, which is to give with unconditional love to others and to yourself. Don't be stingy with others and don't be stingy with you. So oftentimes we see people caught up in fear. And one thing I know is that unless they change that, they're going to be stuck in the exact same place that they are today. They're going to be there next year, the year after that, and on the day they die. So the decision is yours. What are you choosing now? If you choose to step from a lack to an abundance mindset, that's what's going to move the needle for you. Not staying where you are, wishing and hoping that things change. It's really changing your heart, changing the way you look at things. Are you going to open up to the fact that there is so much love, money, health, wealth, everything out there for you right now in this moment? but it all is available to you when you change your energy about it, when you change the way you look at it. And a big part of helping you to change the way you look at it is by giving with an open heart, because you are showing the universe directly that you no longer fear loss and that you're no longer stuck in a lack mindset. So go out and invest in yourself, invest in your business, invest in those who need your help, and do it all with an open heart, knowing that this is an abundant universe and that when you give with an open heart, it will come back to you tenfold. So that is what I have to say.
Yes, and I dare say 100-fold, 1,000-fold, 10,000-folds, in ways and means you never could have imagined, to have the most fulfilled, happy, and joyful life. Absolutely. So, this week we encourage you, to give. What are you passionate about? What is something that you can help, whether it's, financially, or your time, or your energy, or your resources, including in yourself, in any area of your life, is that, really, focus on filling your cup. And when your cup is overflowing, and you feel so joyful and abundant, is that you don't think twice about being able to help others, to be able to have that, flow, to be able to do that, knowing that, it's coming back to you always in ways and means. It's this beautiful cycle and energetic, as I said, some may call that karma. And, there's just beautiful opportunities that's always being presented to us. And that when they do show up in your life, that even if it's the last $10 in your purse, maybe the universe has something really big in store. And they're just saying, are you willing to give when you feel called to give, so that you can, achieve and receive that abundance into your life? Because, oh my goodness, I've got great things in store for you. And so, yeah, we've got to trust that in our lives. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of our show today. If you have an incredible story that you want to share about giving, about abundance in your life, about, attracting, maybe a miraculous thing that happened, feel free to share that in the comments. And if you have a show idea, something that you want Jacquie and I to talk about in terms of, achieving, feeling like a million, looking like a million, impacting millions, or making millions, we love hearing from you. So feel free to throw it in the topic, because there's really no conversation that's off limits to Jacquie and I. Isn't that right, Jacquie?
That is so true, Sharla. Yes. From spending on ourselves, to spending on others, to investing in our businesses, to big, big dreams, to love and sex and romance. We love talking about it all. And of course, faith and divine guidance.
Yes, absolutely.
Right action.
Yeah, for sure. So we want to wish everybody a fantastic week. Be sure to watch us next week again on So You Want to Be a Millionaire. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.